All right, what's up, everybody? I'm here back again for one more for you guys. Hopefully, I can continue doing these. Uh, this time, it's going to be more of a specific topic rather than just the word vomit that I was giving you guys last time. Um, I don't have not much of an intro or anything right now, so I'll just get into it and we'll just start talking about how I got into this whole martial arts and traveling to Thailand and what started it and how it became to be where I'm at now. So yeah, I mean to start completely from the very beginning. As a kid, I was growing up, first grade, kindergarten ages like that. What is that? Four to seven, 4 to 8, or whatever. Um, I was always into martial arts. I loved martial arts, like Van Damme movies, Bruce Lee movies. Uh, like the only cartoons I was watching was probably like Ninja Turtles because it was like a real movie back then in the 90s. So like I would watch that. Anything with fighting or combat, Batman, shit like that. I just loved martial arts. So I even took a little bit of karate as a kid, maybe 4 months, 5 months. Wasn't really serious about it. I just, as a kid, I'm in a karate class. I'm doing karate, so uh, it was just something like that. Never really took it far into karate as a kid. Um, but then eventually that kind of fizzled out a little bit, and I went on to play other sports, football, soccer, uh, other stuff, baseball and shit like that, and just never really found my real sport. I was good at football, but I'm short, so there's no way I would make a big career out of. And then plus, I was big as a kid. My whole life, I was very big, so I was sometimes wider than I was tall, and that's pretty funny to think about. Um, but yeah, so I just ended up just growing up in my childhood years, just being quite a big kid. And it wasn't up until like my mid 20s I was living in Big Bear, um, with my friends, and yeah, I was just working as a lift operator, and I just remembered that one year I just got really really tired of just being who I was. I just didn't like it, and plus the fact that like being in a predominantly like white environment. All these kids are snowboarder kids. N- Majority of them never had like an issue like me, like having to fit in and being so heavy, and it just wasn't working. The snowboard chicks were not feeling me at all. You know what I'm saying? So it was just it was just a bunch of all of that boiled up, and I look around and I'm the only fat kid around. I'm only the only fat friend that and people like me, but I'm sure it's because it made them feel better about themselves, which is completely understandable. I totally get that. But yeah, one season, I think it was just, was it 2014, 2015 season or 13, 14 season, snowboard season? Towards the end, I got really, really tired of it. And I started running. I didn't even know exactly what to do. I just knew that I had to lose weight, and the only way to lose weight is move more and eat less. So, I'm gonna sip of that latte real quick. So that's pretty much what I did, and I would run this bike path in Big Bear, which I would tell myself. I remember telling my buddy Ian at this at the time I was doing that. I was like, all the greats have ran this track. Oscar De La Hoya, Gennady Golovkin. I believe it was Canelo Alvarez has run that track. Tito Ortiz has run that track. Sugar Shane Mosley has run that track. All these famous fighters have run this bike path in Big Bear, and like that's what motivated me to start doing that bike path. And I wouldn't do the whole bike path. I would just do maybe halfway, maybe 3.5K, something like that, and make my way back. And after those runs, I would, like I said, I'd eat very little. So my diet was in the beginning was 3 Cliff Bars, a salad, and vitamin water throughout the day. So what I would do, I'd wake up at 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning, 6 or 6:30 in the morning. I would stop and get a vitamin water and a Cliff Bar, and I would have that before I'd go and run. And then I'd run, get my 3.5K in or whatever it was, 4K, and then I'd come home, shower, get myself ready or whatever. Like I wouldn't eat immediately. I would wait after my run, and then say around maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I would have my lunch, and my lunch would just be another Cliff Bar, water, and one of those small ready pack salads, like to go pack salads from the fridge in the supermarket. And then I would have that for my lunch, and for my dinner, and I would cut myself off at 8 p.m. So at 8 p.m., there was no more eating after 8 p.m. So right around 7 o'clock, I'd have my last Cliff Bar, and that's how I would do my diet. And I stayed like that for quite a few months, and along with taking, I was taking these GNC men's healthy weight loss vitamin packs or whatever it was. So along with that and the very minimal eating, my body just shedded that weight so quick because I was living in Big Bear at the time, and high elevation, very little oxygen. You burn a lot more, a lot quicker, you know. And so yeah, I whipped myself into shape in about like maybe one season or something. I lost like maybe 80 pounds in 4 months. It was unbelievable. Even my doctor was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like this is unreal. And I would go and get checked because I would buy new clothes, and then within the next week, I'd have to buy more new clothes because I'd get even smaller. And I was like, "Whoa, this is a bit like intense." Like, so I went and got checked, and doctor would say, but everything's fine, blood levels, vitals, everything's good. You're just fucking losing weight really quick." So I just kept on that until I realized, okay, I lost a bunch of weight. I wanted to pack on muscle. So I started going to just your standard gyms, fitness gyms, and I would work out a little bit. I didn't know much really. I just, lift weights, do the fucking ab machines and bench press, and that was pretty much about it. And I realized that just the environment that I was in, all these gyms that I would go to, just all these like really douche head, meathead type vibes, and I just didn't like that environment. And I just decided, you know what, let me try martial arts because I've always loved it, loved doing it as a kid. I always did it during high school with all my friends. We'd come over after school and we'd watch, pride fights or whatever that I'd recorded, and we'd all just try to wrestle each other. And I fell in love with it. So I decided to find this gym where I was staying outside the mountains, down the mountain where I lived in San Bernardino. Found this martial arts MMA gym. Actually, it was called Adrenaline, and Adrenaline ended up being my home for a very, very, very long time. And I still have friends and loved ones that are still at that gym and everything and whatnot. Shout out Adrenaline, San Bernardino, stand up. um, but yeah, when I first started going, I would just use the facility. I didn't sign up for any classes or anything like that. I just would use the bags, use the mat, and the weight room, and yeah, I stayed like that for about like a good month or two. Then I got the courage to join in a jujitsu class, and at the time it was a morning class that I tried, and I remember this. It's a good friend of mine now, Moses. He was the coach at the time in the mornings, and we had this really at the time this really tough kid there, and uh, his name was Matt. A really really tough kid. And I told the coach Moses, my buddy, the morning coach. I was like, "Yo, I want to try the class," and he's like, "You want to try jujitsu, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm down. I'm down to try it." And he's like, "All right." So we basically just did like a couple little work, a little like shrimp moves and shoot moves, and just maybe learned one technique on a submission, and then he just said roll, and made me roll with Matt, and basically just initiated me that right there because uh, Matt just fucking took me to work. He just rubbed his forearms into my face. Like he was doing complete dirt jitsu, and just welcoming me to it. And I understand, like in expectations to have me just say I quit, or like, all right, I don't like this. I don't. But I took it, bloody nose and everything, rubbing my face into the mat, fucking giving me the fucking full fledged treatment. And I got up, my eyes bloodshot, looking like I just fought, blood all over my shirt, everything, you know. And he just like, you like it? And I was like, yeah, I'm down to do it, you know. And yeah, so it just that was my first intro to jujitsu, and then we started going in the evenings where there was a lot more people, and the main coach at the time was Brady Fink, and that Brady Fink is just shout out Brady Fink, man. He's yeah, he's a funny guy. He's an amazing person. He's a great coach. He was just very I was very grateful to have him as my first coach, my first jujitsu coach, you know, because he knew all the big dogs. He stepped into the Pride Ring himself, I believe. You know, he gave Bisping his black belt. Coach Quentin Rampage through a bunch of fights. You know, so he was well known, and just learning from him was you know, a great experience. And I stayed doing jujitsu for maybe about like 4 months, 6 months with that as well. I didn't get out of my white belt at all. I took a tournament once in Orange County, didn't do well. It was just something that I just engulfed myself in. When I'm about something, I just jump right into it and fucking let it all consume me. I sponge it all up. I soak it all up, right? So yeah, I did that tournament. Didn't do well. Started doing more practicing in jujitsu, no gi, and everything like that. And then I just decided one day to hop in on a Muay Thai class. And once I took the Muay Thai class, I think that fucking sealed the deal for me because, like I said, when I was a kid, I loved every single Van Damme movie, fucking Sudden Impact, Double Impact, uh, what was it, Bloodsport, Kickboxer, uh, Hard Target, anything with Jean Claude Van Damme. I was watching that shit, you know. So, and Kickboxer was a movie that really stood out for me, and of course, based in Thailand, and him learning Muay Thai and fighting the, you know, the villain and everything out of Thailand. So when I jumped into Muay Thai, I really, again, engulfed myself in it, soaked it all up, did my homework on YouTube, and realized that, you know, even with the coach that I had in America, he was a WBC champ, Adam Rothweiler, really good coach, really tough son of a bitch for sure. And he pulled me into it, and I loved it. I fell in love with it so much, and I stayed with him for a long time. And then I just started realizing, you know, because of the internet and everything, I could look on YouTube and see Thai fights in Thailand. And I realized quickly that like the way they do it is completely different than how it's done in the States, you know. States is more of like a brutal, damaging, you know, fucking kill them type mentality. You know, in Thailand it's more beautiful, it's more of an art, it's more of like a dance. It looks great, they make it look good. So yeah, I told myself that I want to just go to Thailand and try Muay Thai in Thailand, you know. And at this time Instagram was still in its infancy, so you couldn't really look up all these gyms and say, oh, I'm going to go to this gym. Or, you know, I think the only gym that was popping back then was probably Tiger Muay Thai, and that was about it, you know. And at that time they were selling it as more of like a CrossFit fitness gym, you know. And so, like me being the introvert person that I am, I don't want to go to the big, most famous one. Big, everybody knows that name. I'm gonna go to that one. No, it wasn't like that for me. So I ended up messaging an American fighter that I'd seen on the internet that had a lot of footage of him training in Thailand, and his name was Kevin Ross. And Kevin Ross, I messaged him, and he messaged me back, luckily, and gave me a few gyms to look at. And one of them was the name of Sitsong Pinong. And he was referring to the Bangkok location. But when I checked on the website, he had two locations at Sitsong Pinong, and there was a Phuket location and a Bangkok location. But the way they sold the Phuket location was just so inviting. You know, they have the, was it meters, 600-meter walk to the beach, or ride motorbikes through the town. You know, jungle vibe everywhere you go. You know, it wasn't that much infrastructure, so it was very still jungle like back then. And the training that we had was like real hardcore training, because again, it wasn't like a fitness thing. It wasn't a big trip. that people were all about. You know, if you went to Thailand to train at these gyms, because you had to go and find these gyms, you know, you couldn't just pull them up on your Instagram at that time and find, oh, I'm gonna go to that gym or whatever. So you had to do your homework. And when I got to this gym, it was nothing but real fighters. Everybody was just training to fight. Nobody, there was no fitness, fun, private class for, you know, shits and giggles. No, no, it was straight, strict fucking training, hard training. And yeah, so I flew from United States after about like maybe 5 months, 6 months training. I had one fight in America. Um, he was full headgear, pads, and everything. Again, I lost. You know, I gave it my all, but I wanted to learn more. So yeah, after about 5 months of training in America with Adam Rothweiler, uh, I flew out to Thailand for a month, and took me that first flight took me about like, was it almost 18 to 20 hours to get there. And this is my first time flying out of the States, being away. And I would go to Mexico, but nothing real far like that, like Thailand. So I get there, I land, I get to my bag, I get to the Fighters Hotel, which is right next to the gym at the time, and it was maybe 5:30 in the morning. And right as I was getting there, people are getting up to go run. I'm seeing all the fighters come out of the rooms, and you know, you hear the doors shutting, and they're all coming down, and I'm like, holy shit, these are all the fighters, you know, foreigners and Thais. And luckily, you know, there was the hotel host lady, Luck. She pointed me to my room, and I just realized, you know, fuck, I want to do the morning training, but just hold off till the afternoon. So I went into the afternoon training, and it was my first intro to Muay Thai training. And I gotta say, is fucking, I was not prepared. I was prepared physically because I stayed in shape, you know. I could do everything, but I was not prepared for the fucking heat, bro. So hot, and this gym we were in didn't have many windows, had small room fans, wall mount fans, and it's just blowing hot air back and forth when you're in this gym, you know, not many windows, like I said. So it was fucking hot. It was muggy as shit. Like, it was fucking almost like you're fucking training in a sauna or a steam room. That's what it felt like. And yeah, so I did that, and got the full fledged experience. You know, hard training. We would train. We'd run 12K in the morning from Surrey Beach all the way to Kamala Police Station, or sometimes near Fantasy Island, or Fantasy, or what is it called now? Carnival Experience or whatever. But we would run from Surrey Beach all the way there and then back, and then training would start, and then training probably lasts maybe 2.5 hours. So it's a good 3 hours of training in the morning and then back in the afternoon. And just the afternoon got even tougher, you know. Um, yeah, it was crazy. I would see little kids, even then, Thai kids training and clinching with the grown men, and you know, the grown men would sweep the kid. Grown man would sweep the kid, and the kid would get up and like try to reach for water, and the trainer like, no, 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 water makes you weak. Push the little kid back in there, and didn't even let the kid have water, and pushed him back in there. And that's when I was like, holy fuck, this is a different level, you know. But it's what I signed up for, and it was what I was looking for. And I'm glad that he suggested, Kevin Ross suggested that gym, even though he mentioned the Bangkok location. When I came to the Phuket location, uh, the training was just as real and just as hard, and like, you know, just as scary, just as scary as it would be in Bangkok. Um, and even then, man, a lot of these trainers now are real famous trainers now. Like, even when I first started going, who was there? You had Pentai that was there, Saga Pet, who is still there now as a trainer. Cookie Playboy. Cookie was one of my first trainers as well. Shout out to Cookie. He's doing very well now. Who else was there? Guy Sayanoe. He he's he's been in Australia, I believe, coaching a bunch of people out there as well. So I had a very good group of trainers out there that from the jump, from the beginning, that made the work fucking hard, you know. And so I stayed about a month, and about 2 weeks into that 1 month, I realized I got homesick, bro. I didn't even know what I was thinking when I flew out there. My mentality was just go to Thailand and learn and train like that. You know, but when I did have time to sit to myself, I fucking, holy shit, I'm homesick. I miss home. But I toughed it out. I stayed for my whole month. I came back to the States and just fell in love with just, the Thai style training, and I brought that home with me, and I think that kind of annoyed a lot of people too. Like, "Oh, fuck this guy, always putting this fucking Thai oil on, trying to train Thai style shit," but like it's something that I loved. So doing that, staying back home in the States for maybe 4 months, 3 months, 4 months, and then I had some money saved up because I wanted to go back, and I had just enough saved up for 2 weeks. And after the 2 weeks, or yeah, I was only had enough to pay for a 2 weeks stay. So I did that, and I had booked it, and I had booked this flight. I still had maybe 2.5 months to go before I would actually fly out. And in that time, I met this girl. I started dating with this girl, and I had to tell her, I was like, "Look, I'm going to be going to Thailand for a little bit, and it'll just be 2 weeks, and I'll come right back." And she agreed. You know, like, okay, yeah, you had booked this flight already before you met me, so yeah, this is what you're doing. Um, so I went out after being home for a few months. I went back to Thailand, and some of the trainers is different location now. It's a complete different location now that they moved to, but the trainers are still the same. The owner was still the same, and they all remembered me when I came back, which is cool, And man, like I said, I stayed for 2 weeks, and maybe after my fourth day, fifth day training, I opened up Instagram, and there was a post of me from the gym saying something about like, if you fly with the Eagles, you end up becoming one, or something like this. And the owner of the gym basically just put it on Instagram at the time that I was a sponsored fighter for the gym in Phuket. So when I woke up and saw that, I was like, well, holy shit, this is fucking dope. Like, I, this is always something that I wanted. So when I got up that morning and went to the gym, I saw the owner of the gym, and he basically told me, it's like, yeah, um, you're welcome to stay here and fight, and live at the gym. Um, get yourself a visa, a student visa. You can stay here for at least a year, and you can train and you can fight every month under my gym. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm down to do that. Completely signed on. I was like, without hesitation, it's what I wanted. But again, remember, I was dating this girl back in the States. So I had to let her know. And, of course, she wasn't trying to stick around at all. So I had to leave that girl behind, and, hope she's all right. You see this? I know you know what I'm talking about. So I hope you're doing good. God bless you. And, so yeah, I ended up staying for like a good year or so. Had me a couple fights. I fought locally at Patong, in Sainamyan Stadium, and Bangla Stadium. At that time, in the beginning fights, I think I had won a Sainamyan title here in Phuket, and then I had a couple fights back and forth here and there, win some, lose some, and then I had one specific fight against a guy from Singapore at Bangla. I think it was my first fight in Bangla Stadium. So I was used to more of that dark vibe at Sainam Yen, where it's like you don't see much of the crowd. And Bangla is a very lit up, bright, loud, stadium where you see everything that's going on. So it was a bit intimidating to me at first. But yeah, my opponent and I, we went 4 rounds, and I ended up finishing him with a spinning elbow. Spinning elbow, sat him down, spectacular fight. Shook hands with him after the fight. He was in the doctor's room or whatever, and I shook his hand. Jeremy is his name, and he told me that I ended up breaking his like eye socket or orbital or whatever this is right here. And that kind of, I was like, damn, dude, like, I'm sorry to hear that. He's like, no, it's good. Like, you're Tasmanian devil, dude. Like, good job, you know. But that kind of, I was like, damn, I hurt him. You know, I didn't want to hurt the guy. Uh, but yeah, go home proud, of course, you know, seeing the footage of spinning elbow and a guy dropping and, you know, in front of the crowd and just the people going crazy. It was really a sick feeling to feel, you know. I felt like that was my feeling. That's what I was looking for. And so the trainers that were there for my fight, they'll go and relay to the owner and say, yeah, so and so is a good fighter. He fights good. He fights strong. We should get him better fights, you know. So I guess that's what one of the trainers did. Told the boss, and the boss basically said, "Yeah, do you want to fight in China?" You know, um, and the first thing I said, of course, like hell yeah, I'm never gonna say no to a fight, let alone it being in China, right? But he's like, okay, you got like 4 weeks or 6 weeks or something like that. I think it was 4 weeks to get prepared. Okay, so I started training this and that, and then he realized, holy shit, where's your passport? The owner says. I was like, oh, I have it. And he's like, oh, he looks at my passport. He's like, holy shit, you overstay. You overstayed. You have to go and handle all this and that. So I go and I handle this overstay. I bring it back, the passport to him because we have to explain to China how I can get into China and fight. Because mind you, the promotion that I'm fighting for in China is government funded. So it's ran by the military and everything. So everything has to be legitimate for me to come. And so basically, what he said, he's like, all right, you're going to go to Bangkok, take your passport to this person, and this person's going to tell you what to do. Right. And I was like, okay. So I fly to Bangkok. I meet this fella at this hotel, and he comes out to the lobby. Uh, he's not Thai. Um, so I'm kind of like, what the hell is this, right? He's not Thai, nor is he Chinese. So he tells me, "Where's your passport, bro?" He talked to me. Okay, I know so and so. We're gonna get you a visa so you can get into China. I was like, okay, whatever. Let's do this. He's like, all right, come with me outside. So I follow him outside of the hotel, and then he just waves down some taxi driver, some motorbike grab driver, and I hop on the bike with him, and he goes, all right, this guy's gonna take you to this office, and you're gonna speak to some lady. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever, right? The motorbike driver takes me to this office. I sit down in the office and I'm like talking to the lady, and then I look to the left of me, and my driver comes in. I didn't know he was waiting for me. He comes in and sits down on in like the office or the waiting area, right, on a couch. And I'm talking to the lady. I'm like, what the fuck is he standing there for, right? Um, so the lady's telling me, she's like, okay, you got your passport, you had an overstay, so you have to go and handle some things at one of the main offices, one of the main embassies in Thailand, in Bangkok, and take this passport and go and pay this fee at this embassy, the Thai embassy. And I was like, okay. I was like, let me get another cab then. And she's like, no, 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 he's gonna take you. And that's why I look. I was like, this cab driver, like the guy that took me already. She's like, yeah, yeah. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, they're all in it together, right? So that tripped me out. But I was like, whatever. All right, let's go. So the cab driver, the motorbike driver takes me to this embassy. I get to the embassy, and the embassy is saying, okay, you have to pay a fine of like 11,000 baht or 8,000 baht or something like this, right? So I messaged the fella that I went to first see at the hotel. And the guy goes, okay, wait one moment. Right? And I was like, okay, wait one moment, whatever, right? Because I'm at the table, I'm at the desk. The lady was waiting for me to have the money and everything. He goes, the guy messages me back, tells me, he goes, the cab driver, your motorbike driver is gonna come upstairs now to your floor, and he's gonna give you the money. And I go, what? I'm thinking in my head, what the fuck? The cab driver is gonna give me money to pay for this? right? So yeah, sure as shit, the elevator dings, bing, and in comes in the driver, the motorbike driver. I'm like, what the fuck? He hands me the money, right? And he goes, okay, go pay. It's like, what the fuck? I grab the money, I go into the office and I pay, and I pay for my overstays or whatever, and then that took maybe 5 minutes, and they say, okay, finish, go, and I'm like, what the fuck, right? And then the motorbike driver goes, hey, now you come with me. We go back to the office to the lady. We take the passport back to the lady at the office. And I was like, really? And that's when I started. I was like, I don't know, because nobody told me that part. And yeah, right when he said that, before we can even get down to the bottom of where the bike was parked, I got a message from the first guy saying, yeah, you have to go back to the office and give the lady your passport. So I do that, right? I give the lady my passport. Um, she does something with it, gives some stamp on it, and she says, when you get back to Phuket, you have to ship the passport back to Bangkok to them, because I can't fly from Bangkok to Phuket without my passport, you know. So they give me my passport. I get back to Phuket from Bangkok, which is maybe 1 hour and 30 minutes, almost 2 hours. I get into Phuket, and then like they told me immediately go to like a shipping place and then ship my passport back to them, and which I did, and which is crazy because I'm like, fuck, I'm just giving up my passport to these people. So mind you, yeah, it took about like 8 days or something with me without my passport, just wondering if this is all gonna happen for real, for real. And sure as shit, boom, I got my passport back, boom, with a 10-year visa to China, 10-year work visa, stating that I'm going to buy electronic equipment and everything right now. So it allows me to go into China to work, to get paid, you know, without anything being illegal. So I do that, and this is, mind you, my first experience at the big show. So this is a televised fight. This is nationwide, uh, funded by the military, and the promotion is USA versus or China versus the world is what they were selling it as. So they pulled in a bunch of foreigners and had us all fight the best of China. And mind you, at that time, I'm still not like, I still need a lot more learning to do. So I ended up fighting the number one guy in my division in all of China. And unbeknownst to me, I get in there. My whole experience is just so wild. Like doing the physicals, cutting the weight, being in the saunas that weren't even that hot. It was like, I was there with a teammate of mine, Will the Lion Romero, and another American that I met there, Kerry Allen. What's up, boys? How you guys doing? Um, yeah, and we found this sauna that just wasn't hot enough, for us to really get our sweat on, and we couldn't find any sauna. So I had to struggle to lose weight. Um, even had lack of sleep. I had to wake up in the morning early before we do our physicals, because in the morning you would wake up, go do the physicals, then go straight from physicals to weigh-ins, and then after weigh-ins you're finished or whatever, right? So I had to wake up early before the physicals, try to burn as much weight as I still couldn't. Um, Finally got to the physical place. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. We all are now. It's just an office, a clinic full of these fighters that are just thirsty and hungry, So it's not a very comfortable vibe, you know. So once that's done, we had to rush over to do weigh-ins, and luckily at weigh-ins, they had a sauna at the establishment. So I had like maybe 1 hour of trying to cut as much weight as I could within that hour, and I just had nothing left. I was in the sauna, like butt ass naked, laying there trying to cut weight. People are just like, "Fuck, what's wrong with this guy?" Like he's in there naked, just lying there. He looks dead. And one of the trainers to one of the other foreigners just saw me, and he realized, like, he took the initiative. Was like, "Yo, fucking stop with this guy now. Like, look at him now. He's done. I think the coach was from like Belgium or something like that, or Russia. I can't remember. But shout out to him because he realized that, like, yeah, I was at death's door, and that was it for me. So they dragged me out of the sauna and dragged me into the shower head because I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even walk at that time. They just dragged me, fucking butt ass naked, everything, just pulling me like a dead body into the showers and just let the shower run. And I remember so bad that I wanted to drink that water that was running down my head so bad. And I remember that my trainer, my Thai trainer, Kalan, he was there, and I remember him telling me, like, don't drink, don't drink, don't drink, because he saw that I was like trying to drink the fucking water, and he's like, don't drink, don't drink. I was like, fuck. So all that, they dry me off, they get me downstairs. And I remember Carrie Allen telling me too, he's like, when you go down there, don't show that you're sick, don't show that you're tired, because your opponent's down there, he's gonna see that you're weak and he's gonna fuck you up even more. Like, be strong when you go down there in the weigh-in. So I had to keep my cool, act like nothing, and realizing that I was point eight overweight or something. I was supposed to be 61 kilos. I was like 61.8 or something like that. Um, and so they're like, all right, no more. Like, just cut 10% from his check, and he gets a point deducted right as the fight starts. And I was just like, at that time, I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, whatever. Just let me drink water now. All right. Weighed in, didn't make weight. We did our little standoff, our little fight, face off, and get back to my room, hotel, rehydrate myself, salt water, stuff like that. Luckily, I had a veteran like Will to help me from Canada. He helped me through a lot of this shit, and I can get into detail on how like the whole system went down too. Like, they try to sabotage you and shit the whole time. Like, they make you uncomfortable. They make it very hard for you, especially the foreigner coming in, because you're not there to be the winner. So yeah, that happens. Fast forward, come to the night of the fight. I get KO'd first round, jumping knee, knocks me the fuck out. First time I've ever been like completely out like that. I mean, I was stiff. Like, I remember everything. I remember getting up. I remember going, you know, looking at the refs and like thinking that I can go on, but I was already split. My mouth was split open. It just called the fight, whatever. Um, so I go home um, with my mouth sewed up. Man, even that experience of going to the hospital then was just fucking crazy. Like, it felt like the movies. They escorted me from the ring. They put me into a wheelchair, pushed me out, and had some Chinese guy escort me all the way to the hospital. And he was trying to talk to me in English, and I'm still kind of excited from the whole thing, the whole experience, big lights, big TV, everybody, screaming and everything like that. So I'm high from the fight, and I'm trying to talk to the guy, and the escort. I remember him looking at me and saying, "Shh, don't talk, like, close your mouth, like your mouth is like cut open, like, don't talk." And I was like, fuck, this guy, like, he wants me to stop talking because it looks so gruesome how split open my mouth was. But yeah, it gets creepier. I get there to the hospital, right? And it seems like it's the hospital after hours. Like, this level, the floor that we get to, it's like a dark hallway, and it looks nothing's really nice. It looks very third world. It even have like a bunch of lights turned on. One room has a light on, but the light is like flickering, like a fucking scary movie, completely like a scary movie. So I'm walking down these hallways with this escort, and not only is it creepy looking, but you hear babies just crying in the background, like babies crying. I'm like, what the fuck is this, dude? This is wild, right? I get to this room where they sew me up. They sew my mouth up, but they sewed me up so retarded. I had like maybe like 7, 8 stitches on the outside and maybe 12, 14 stitches on the inside. But the way they stitched me up was all retarded. And, flying home was big fucking issue too, because my face is swollen. My head, I had head trauma. So being in the air like that made my head like ache and just be so painful flying from, from Hong Kong into Thailand, and it was just crazy. Um, yeah, we flew out of Hong Kong, so we landed into China or landed into Hong Kong, went under the ocean into China, mainland China, and then that's how we had to do it to go back home. So I had to fly out of Hong Kong as well. And yeah, so that was very, very gruesome because like I remember my head just swelling and just being so painful, like it just wasn't fucking the vibe for me. So that happens, right? Quite the experience. And that put me out of commission for quite some time. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to train. Like it fucked me up. It really fucked me up. Um, so during that time, I'm like kind of crawled under a rock, um, and still trying to figure out things like trying to motivate myself to keep myself inspired to keep going to training and everything. But I just couldn't do it. My mind just wasn't right. I took a nasty, nasty KO, and then right when all that was going on, COVID had happened. And with that time, when COVID had happened, everybody had to go home. Everybody started going home. But I was with some Thai woman at the time, and luckily it worked out perfect for us because she started to lose her job because of COVID, and like I had no place to stay because they closed the gym. Everybody had to go. And luckily she was like, you can come stay at my place. I own the place, so you don't have to pay anything. You just, when you can help me out. All right, so cool. We did that. I stayed during COVID, which is I think was a blessing because to see what people were going through back home in the States and what we were going through in Thailand, it was just completely different. I've seen a lot of people more going a lot more people going crazy back home than they were here. And here was fucking really hard. Like they stopped sales of alcohol. They had curfews. They blocked us off in districts. We couldn't even go. Some people couldn't even go to a market. They had to just that one local 7-Eleven is all they had. So it was definitely quite the experience to stay here during COVID. And when that was all happening, what had happened? I was able to get some collection money from the whole COVID time. So I was able to get some funds from America still in Thailand, and that really helped us to survive during that time. Um, but yeah, of course, eventually, the COVID thing loosened up, and you were able to fly again, and just decided to go back home, work for a few months. I thought it was, and then come back. But I ended up staying in America for about like a good year, and then just not really finding my way back, finding my path back, and I don't know. I just had some issues that I couldn't correct. Just problems with drinking, problems with falling back into the same little hole and everything and whatnot. And I saw myself going through that again, and I just was like, yeah, I need to get back. I need to get back because I need to get out of here. And yeah, so I made my way back to Thailand after COVID, and just decided to stay back into the training, back into the fighting thing, and back in my deal. And yeah, that's when still tried to do my thing, but at that time things got legalized with cannabis here in Thailand, and I helped my friend a lot in the states growing and everything. So we teamed up with some people out here in Thailand in hopes to make that work, and that's what kept me here for this trip now is trying to help grow this cannabis um, industry and with our knowledge from the West and bring it here. But just like everything else that I try to follow people with, it just doesn't end up right because it's not my journey, it's other people's journey. And I was in on it. I was definitely in to make it happen, but shit just doesn't go the right way, and it's just not my purpose. I used to be upset about how everything went, but it's just because it wasn't my purpose. And yeah, so with that happening, it really opened me up just to understand more of like everything of what's going on in my life, and really analyze things and really look at myself from a different perspective, and what really makes me tick and what really makes me driven, you know, on a daily basis. And one thing I learned is just like I can't be following other people's plans anymore. When people are like, "Oh yeah, I got a plan to do this, and I want you on board with me, and then I want you to be this and that." For me, like, it's inviting, and as delightful as that sounds, I just can't be doing those things no more because it's not my purpose. It's not my purpose. Uh, I don't feel, what's the word? I don't feel like it would last long even if I were to go through it, because yeah, money is there, but it's not what's gonna make me happy at the end of the day. So I just did a lot of soul searching since then, and being here and listening to elders and what people have to say. Now I'm very observant, more than I ever was, and I just look at things completely different now from just my experiences of overall what had happened. And like with that whole story that I had mentioned too about my whole reason coming back here and fighting, like there's so many stories within that story that gets crazy. Like I got so many crazy stories on just living here in Thailand, and like we'll get into it as as time goes on. But yeah, so it kept me here, and this is where I found like this is my purpose now. It's like learning how to figure things out that has to be based all on you, your happiness, your joy, what makes you tick, all of that. So it's a big thing that I work on now. And I just hope that I can get out of this this rut, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Of just trying to stop trying and really start doing. And I think I'm working on it little by little. But yeah, that's pretty much my story of how I keep kept myself here, living in Thailand, and keeping things going for myself. And I'm not finished yet. I'm not done yet. Um, I'm gonna be 37 years old this week. It's coming up week, and my job's still not done. I still haven't even gotten on the field just yet. So I'm just gonna stay working, stay doing my thing. As frustrating as it can get sometimes, I just gotta stay focused. Especially the holidays, my birthdays, and everything like that. I've never had um, a warm, welcoming birthday, and since I was a kid, pretty much. And that's something that I think what really devastates me every year as well, and it leads into the holidays as well. Is just like, yeah, still another year has gone by, and I still haven't acquired the things that I've set out to do, and I'm still, it's just a big reminder of what I don't have yet, what I still don't have. So that puts me in a mood. A lot of the time, I tend to want to be lonely around my birthday because, like, like I said, I've never experienced a great birthday in my adult life. You know, even when I was growing up, like friends would go out with me on my birthday. I'm still buying my drinks. Nobody does anything for me. Like my birthday, I went to jail. Like friends, like I never had like people like do something for me. Um, like even the slightest like shout out to so and so, or shout out to Steve on my birthday, that's my boy right there. Like I don't even get any of those. And it sounds so silly, but like that's just one of the coolest things that I wish I could ever receive. That'd be the best gift ever. Just people being proud of me. But it's okay. Like, I guess I have to just endure all that and just keep losing, I still got my face in the mud, so uh, gonna just keep trying till one day eventually I can have a birthday or a year of holidays that I'm very proud, very happy. Um, but that's me going off tangent again. That's a quite pretty much in a nutshell my story of how I came here to Thailand and what kept me here and what got me here. I'm probably going to be talking about the story for over and over and over, but there's more detail and more detail and more detail every time I'll talk about it. So I'll break that down in the later videos. But for now, just if I can give you guys a message before I close this, is just when times are rough and everything seems like you're just not feeling it anymore. You just got to get up and keep doing it. Just get up and keep doing it. Like, even myself, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I start to feel this, like, oh, my birthday's coming around again, and I'm still nowhere near where I said I was gonna do, and just I start beating myself up. I go back to smoking weed from morning till night again, like, and then it just puts me into that rut again, and like I don't want that feeling anymore, So yeah, I just told myself, like, you don't like feeling this way, but you just keep making yourself feel that way. So stop doing that. Get up and move. Wake up, wake your ass up and move. Get up and start moving. Sweat, you know, kill yourself, figuratively speaking, of course. Um, yeah, do some suffering for yourself. And that's what I did today. And it was hard because uh, my girlfriend really, like, I try to tell her things, but I don't want her worried so much either. So I just told her, like, I'm gonna go for a jog this morning, and she felt like as if I was upset with her. She even wrote to me. She's like, uh, whatever I did, I'm sorry. I don't want you to be angry. And I was like, no, it has nothing to do with you, man. And that affect me again. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck. See, now I'm making other people feel bad. Like, I don't like feeling like that. I don't like being you know, the root of all this, sadness or whatever. So, like, I had to just tell her, like, no, it's not you, it's me. I get these issues with myself every year, but I'm learning, I'm understanding myself, and I'm trying to do better. And that's why I'm out here in early in the morning in the sun, uh, running. And speaking of sun, we finally got some sun. It's been fucking maybe 11 days, 12 days of straight constant rain, and finally got some sun. So yeah, I got out, enjoyed that run a little bit, try to shake all that negativity out of my brain, all that stress and whatnot. But yeah, let me go ahead and conclude this then, and hopefully it was a little bit more of an insightful story, and then it sounded a lot better in my head. But like I said, if you guys have more questions, you can ask, and I'll bring it up in more videos and how everything came about and everything and whatnot. Um, but yeah, thank you guys for tuning in again. I appreciate it. Um, like I said, I'll try to make these videos at least once a week. Yeah, we'll keep you guys tuned in, and hopefully it just gets better from here on out. All right, you guys have a good one. Kapong kap. Stay blessed. Praise God, man. Peace.